Hi, welcome to the Wolf Recaps channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. The movie begins with the four monsters, Han Dan Tao, Donkey, and Tao Tai, who are trying to take over the world. A group of people called the Challenge show up to defeat them and prevent them from destroying the earth. They are a group of guardians who control water, fire, and earth. With their powers combined, they are able to defeat the monsters, but they realize they are stronger together. So they unite their forces. The power of the wind appears as a force that generates immense energy capable of defeating the monsters and burying them in the ground forever, bringing peace back to humanity. The souls of the Challenge are then passed down from generation to generation to continue protecting the world from any evil invasion. They have a symbol on their hands to identify them. Today, we see the Challenge chasing after gangs. They are after a man named Lang Ming, who was known to have the ability to hear what no one else could hear. He has the Shalen symbol on his hand and convinces children that he is one of them, selling them books with information about the Challenge. One day, while he was selling the books to children, fireworks gangs come to his store, and everyone runs away, afraid of them. The gang leader is huge and demands that Lang give him all his profits, but Lang is not afraid of them. Even when the leader tries to approach him and shows him what he can do, swallowing fireworks in front of him, Lang remains fearless. But this distracts the gang's attention because the fireworks explode in the leader's stomach, causing him immense pain. Lang manages to escape, but when they discover this, they start chasing him. He can't hide from them as he runs, and suddenly the gang surrounds him from all sides. Lang starts calling out to someone named Sister, who turns out to be his mother, and he calls for her every time he's in trouble and doesn't know what to do. She appears and saves him, wanting to take him with her, but the gang stops her from doing so. She strikes them and threatens them that if they don't back off, she'll inform their parents. Afterwards, she tells Lang that she sees he should leave what he's doing and go play with her at the casino because he can hear what no one else can hear. But when they go and, due to his abilities, they don't lose, people suspect that they're cheating, and they don't know it's due to Lang's abilities, so they're kicked out. Later that night, while they're eating, his mother tells him that his abilities are the reason for their situation, and she blames his father, who has passed away. She thinks he's the reason because he was experimenting on Lang, and Lang is upset with his mother because he can't tell her that when he was riding the wind, his father wasn't there because he was already dead. Then we see a girl talking to a mysterious person who has hired her for a mission and doesn't want the Challenge to know anything about it until she steals what he wants. He calls the upper part to explain to her how the illusion process will work. Later, we see Ming, Lang's mother, working in a drugstore, and we discover that she buys drugs with all the money she earns from her work in the casinos. These drugs are to keep Lang in a state of hysteria and tension, and he keeps asking about the symbol on his hand. Is he really one of the Challenge, or is the symbol meaningless? He still believes in them, but he hasn't seen any signs of their existence. He starts hearing a whistle and decides to follow the sound to its source. There, he sees the girl who was hired by the mysterious person trying to steal what he wants, but she can't due to the power of the evil inside her called the power of zero. At that moment, she hears someone coming, and it's Lang, so she hides. Then Lang finally reaches the valuable piece he was supposed to steal, and he is able to remove the top part of it, which releases a very powerful energy. The girl is shocked and emerges when Lang senses her presence and she asks for the piece. He feels that it must be valuable if she wants it that badly, so he asks her to pay him for it. Suddenly, the cave they are in starts to collapse, and the girl screams as she tries to take the piece from him, but he refuses. She starts hitting him, but he is able to avoid all of her blows, despite being blind and unable to see her. The girl is a very skilled fighter, but in his attempt to prevent her from taking the piece from him, he accidentally swallows it and falls to the ground in the middle of the forest, where he wakes up with a severe headache. However, he realizes that he can see again and that the nature around him is very beautiful, and he will finally be able to know what his mother looks like. The girl is still watching him from a distance, and he runs quickly back to his village, but it is completely destroyed by a giant monster that suddenly appears and wants to kill him. He tries to escape before the monster can catch him, but it is able to grab him. But before it can eat him, a man who is able to control the earth saves him. He joins another group of warriors, and Lang still cannot believe that his father was telling him the truth. They are able to defeat the monster with the power of the real warriors, and all the people in the village thank them for saving their village from the monster. Lang asks them if they have the symbol and the bracelet on their hands, and they show him the symbol, which is different from the one he has. This makes all the villagers call him a liar, and they start to accuse him of pretending. They also start to gather things they bought from him and throw them at him, thinking he was deceiving them. We see that the monster starts to run away, so the warriors decide to split up to catch it. Lang runs to his house to tell his mother that he can see again, But when he arrives, he finds that their house is completely destroyed. He calls out to his mother, but she does not respond, and he sits on the ground crying. Suddenly, the girl appears and tells him that the monster destroyed their house, and she offers to help him find his mother in exchange for the peace he has. He agrees, and they are on their way when the warriors attack the girl because they can sense a zero-point energy inside her. Since the zero-point energy is an ancient evil power that has been isolated from the world, they start to fight it, and a circle appears on her forehead, indicating that she no longer has control over it and is afraid of hurting him. He decides to tell her a happy story to calm the zero-point energy inside her, and he starts to tell her a story about a young child who was blind but was loved and cared for by his parents and enjoyed spending time with them. He grew up in love and decided to leave his home to pursue his dreams and become a respectable man like his father. The symbol on his hand qualified him for this. Though his mission was to protect people, he was able to fulfill that and achieve his dreams. When the story ended, the girl was actually asleep. When she woke up, she was calm and told him that she was just an ordinary girl like him, but suddenly all her memories were erased. A mysterious person told her that if she brought the peace, he would return all her memories to her. They suddenly heard a voice outside the caves and decided to follow it. They arrived at a village where the people were praying to their god and the villagers saw them, so they captured them. After a discussion with their god, they decided to use Lang to serve them and sacrifice the girl to their god. Lang had to tell them that he was the one carrying the girl and that she was his wife, and he showed them the symbol on his hand. At first, they did not believe him and asked him to prove his strength, so he performed a small trick that made them believe and they started to treat him like a god. The funny thing is that they saw that if they sacrificed Lang, it would make their god even more pleased with them, so they started to sacrifice. Meanwhile, Lang was still searching for the monster. The people began performing sacrifice rituals, throwing flowers and dancing. After a long festival, the village leader told them that the sacrifice was over. They did not understand why they were not hurt, and he explained to them that the water is a means of communicating with their god by putting it in and starting to sing and dance. The purpose was to send a message of evangelism, and he apologized for the inconvenience and asked the villagers to prepare a room for them to sleep in. Later that night, the girl was talking to the mysterious person and was reminding them of their promise to her when she brought the peace. We learned that the mysterious man's name is Jie and he wants the peace to free his evil god. But the girl does not know that. The girl was sitting with Lang and told him that the symbol on his hand was not a coincidence or a symbol, but something that made him feel disappointed. He told her that when he was young, he played with fireworks and one of them exploded and caused him this scar. Little Lang was crying to his father, who tried to console him and told him that it was not just a scar, but fate. He thought that he was chosen to be the carrier and save the world and was very disappointed that he was not. But he had another problem, as his stomach began to hurt because of what he swallowed. The girl went to the village leader and told him about Lang's problem, and he told them that he knew the peace they were talking about. He asked them to follow him, and he would tell them a part of the history of their village. There was a man who collected medicinal herbs, and a mysterious force entered his body and caused him to lose his memory and always feel hungry. He wanted to eat everything, even his friends. The savior appeared and gave them the peace, but the hero died while doing so. Lang realized that the village leader was talking about what he swallowed and was afraid of what was inside him. The village leader said he would find a way to remove it and asked the girl why she wanted it because it was very dangerous. Lang thought that the peace was what allowed him to see again, and he was willing to sacrifice it to become blind again so that the girl could be free. This surprised the girl, and she began to love Lang. Her stomach began to swell like she was pregnant, and she cared for him and their relationship grew every day. On a certain day, he felt that the peace was about to come out, so he went to the bathroom and it indeed appeared. He gave Lang the bracelet that she had liked in the market for a while, which he had bought for her, and also gave her the peace. But suddenly, she changed her mind. She took the bracelet and left the peace with him to help him see, and they continued their journey to find their mother. Suddenly, Jie appeared and quickly took the peace from Lang and told him that she lied to him and did not know where their mother was and that they had to escape. Jie took the peace, and at that time, the Shalen warriors appeared, trying to stop him because they knew he was evil. They told Lang that he was the one who brought the zero power to the world, and Jie fled with the girl. The Shalen warriors continued their mission and Lang returned to his village, asking his family for forgiveness for lying to them and for the destruction caused by the monster. He forgave him. Lang remembered that if he found the girl again, he would definitely know where their mother was, so he climbed the mountain where he first found her and tried to use his auditory power to find her. Meanwhile, the girl asked Jie to fulfill his promise, but he told her she would die from zero power. Jie planned to release a monster named Tai Yai who would take over the world. Lang managed to locate the girl and talk to her after Jie threatened her. She took him to the caves that were full of monsters and told him that they were all ordinary humans until Jie Yi turned them into monsters. His mother was one of them and she would die with the other monsters that Jie Yi planned to eat with Tai Yi, the monster he would release. She told him that Jie Yi controlled her and Tai's power was that he could make you achieve any desire in exchange for being his slave. His mother became a monster because she wanted Lang to see her again. And he began to cry when he discovered that she had not tried to attack him in the village but just wanted to make sure he returned. The place began to shake and all the demons went to Tai Yi. Lang called for his mother and wished to have a final moment with her. The girl tried to kill Jie Yi, but he still controlled her and asked her to kill Lang, so she killed herself. She apologized to him and died while he cried, realizing that everyone he loved died and that his father's words about monsters were true. He remembered that the blind could use the wind spell and blinded himself in the hope of being a carrier. He threw himself into the pit, and the Shalen fought Tai Yi, but his power was greater this time. Suddenly, a strong wind came from nowhere and Tai Yi stopped. Lang controlled the wind and no one believed what was happening. All the monsters around them turned back into humans after Tai Yi was defeated. All the pieces came together, and the villagers began to respect Lang, who lived with his mother again. Movie ends there. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video.